Hey, what's up, guys? It is Ben2000 of YGO, your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh superhero, and this is MBT, my guest. And I have made a complete and utter idiot out of myself because he was muted for like probably 15 minutes. So,
Oh yeah,
your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh superhero is a moron from time to time.
that's fine. I'm a moron all the time. It evens out. I will say I revealed a lot of intense MBT secrets over that 15 minutes. My credit card number, my home address, my connection to the New World Order, Rothschildian Bloodmasters. I mean, it was really illuminating. But now you'll have to be satisfied with this.
He even flashed his junk on the screen.
I did.
Massive. Golly, I thought it was an elephant trunk.
I got two of them, one right after the other.
Yeah. It even went.
That's not easy to master either. It was very difficult to learn.
Anyone who watches this dumpster fire is going to be like, "What the hell?"
Hell yeah, let's
Oh
go.
man! All right, now that we're recording,
Hmm.
I one of the first questions I asked earlier was, how is he handling the current COVID situation? So sorry,
Guess
I have
so.
to answer that again.
Yeah, no. This at the very least means that like my impromptu answers I get to improve on and like uh, as much as I can.
Yeah.
I guess I would say that I'm doing all right. I know we're all dealing with this differently, and that sucks. But in terms of like impact, I was laid off from a pretty reasonable job. It kind of forced me into. It was a job I was doing just like to cash in on a 9 to 5, not for any sort of like sense of belonging or
So you didn't lose like
career
your dream
advancement.
job or anything.
No, yeah, it really was like just boring administrative assistant stuff, and it afforded me a fair amount of downtime, which I used to like write scripts
Okay.
for videos.
That's a question for later.
Yeah. I lost that, and it kind of pushed me to making this Yu-Gi-Oh thing full time a little earlier than I was expecting to have to. It also is basically responsible for canceling my upcoming wedding, just because I needed a consistent stream of income that included Yu-Gi-Oh and also the job I was working. And also, we don't know if and when gatherings are going to be permitted again. It's just a lot of general uncertainty. That said, I've been pretty well. This thing has taken off in a way that's been very good for me. A sincere thank you to all of my fans and everyone who supported me during this time. I could not do it without you all, and I thank God every day that I was lucky enough to find a community as welcoming as the Yu-Gi-Oh community has been for me. But that's just COVID. That's just the way it is.
Well, we don't have an Oscar, but will you take a Megazord?
I will take a Megazord. That was acting, of course. Any real heads know that I am responsible for COVID. I am patient zero, genetically engineered in the lab that is my bedroom. I made it as a joke, and it got out of hand, so I'm not taking any credit for it.
Yeah, we'll let China have that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. China.
oh, man. I've been making. I do skits on my intros for my Necro files as well, and the last 3. I've just been sitting there poking jokes at Donald Trump's expense.
I will say I felt really bad. I made a joke about COVID, like, I want to say 2 weeks ago. It's like a joke about like the people who were protesting COVID, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna join them because I want paper Yu-Gi-Oh back." That was like the joke.
Oh, okay.
And someone in the comments posted like a 3 or 4 page tirade about how insensitive it was for me to talk shit on the people protesting COVID because they were in the right. And I was like, "Oh man, I like don't know how to respond to that." I'm like, 1, it's a joke. 2, what? Come on. It's like, come on. It was great.
I thought right wingers were supposed to be like, it's a joke. You
It's YouTube. You cannot take it seriously. Oh man, it was fun though.
Oh man.
I wouldn't trade these experiences for the world. The ability to get called like a racial slur by someone like 2,000 miles away because I said like we should open up Yu-Gi-Oh so I can play pole position. Like that is, I want shit like that on my tombstone. Like
Oh my
Joseph
God.
Rothschild. He truly was.
A living meme. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man. Okay, so for the camera, because I'm an idiot. Current opinion on the format.
Format sucks. Not a fan. We talked about this a little previously, but I play exclusively enough tournaments to get my invite, and then I quit because tournaments are. I mean, it's a big deal. You got to it takes your weekend.
It's
you got to
expensive.
go to a regional. Yeah, it costs money. And as much as I like spending my weekends around Yu-Gi-Oh players, I don't like spending all of them around Yu-Gi-Oh players. So I'll go to like big YCSs and enough tournaments to get my invite. And so I got mine in like November this year, and I was like, I'm done. I was really excited for Nats because I've had some deep runs. Last year I had a friend's wedding the day of the go rounds in nationals, so I had to leave a day early. So I brought like Pacifist the Phantasm City as like a joke. And I was like, okay, I'm really excited. This is going to be the year I do the deep run. I've gotten close before, but I could top. I would really like to. And then like COVID happened and they canceled everything. But like, thank the Lord, we do not have a nationals format of Adamantipator Eldritch where like it's super die roll dependent. It's just long, uninteractive turns, and there's a $2,000 entry fee. Like, I can't imagine. One of my least favorite formats was like a Goki Extra Link format. I can't imagine a nationals format where half of the decks in the field are the equivalent of that, and it's just like
the modern equivalent. Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say when it comes to like this format, like I was thinking that, I mean, like I play dinosaurs, so I'm like, but I still feel like as good as the deck is as a budget deck, because let's face it, it is probably the cheaper ones. There's no way I can keep up with those two. There's just no way.
It's I love the Team Sam video that's like Dinosaur is going to be tier 0, and I was like, God bless you, but that is wow. I don't believe that.
He's been.
It was
like
like
I like Team Sam. Don't get me wrong. But
no,
some
I
of
do
his
too.
videos, I'm like, man, that is so clickbaity.
Well,
and
and
it's fun to watch, but it's very much like, he's delivering, but I'm like that's a little, the title's a bit hyperbolic, is what I'm.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, I get shit wrong all the time too. So I'd feel bad, living in a glass house about this one. But like, Adamantipator Eldritch, the water deck is insane and zero
That's the deck
fun
that
whatsoever.
scares the crap out of me. Like, I don't mind losing to the best deck. What I hate is when I don't even get to play.
Right, yeah. Boy, hand looping, really cool. And then, like, probably, like, Salamangreat, Dino, and what's the other one? There's maybe one other deck that's playable.
Shadow should all invoked, I think?
Some kind of invoked nonsense is probably, like, tiered. But, like, that's it. And all those decks are expensive or extremely old. So, like, your options are you play an inexpensive deck that's been playable for 9 months. Everyone's familiar with it. You're not going to cheese any wins off anyone for not knowing card interactions. Or you're playing, like, a $2,000, like, deck that is going to last exactly until Nationals is over, at which point it will be banned. And, like, both of those options are terrible. I think June 1st, pretty clearly we're going to see a Jet Synchron ban. We're going to see like something like a Block Dragon limit, and they're going to be like, that's it, go for it, and we'll have another format of this.
Really? I don't think we'll even get another ban list before this year's out, unless we get a paper tournament. That's just my prediction.
No, I could see that too as well. I mean, like, there's no impetus, right? Like, the reason you introduce ban lists is to push product, and like product isn't even getting printed right now. Yeah. So, where's
it is getting printed, is getting here late.
Yeah, like Eternity, like you can't change things for Eternity Code format. If Eternity Code releases an NA on the same day as the ban list adjustment, it's like, yeah, pretty cynical. And like the best case scenario is if they hit Secret Slayer stuff and then let Eternity Code release, then we just have water replacing Adamantipator, and it's the same format, and that's miserable too. So, I don't know.
Okay, so now we're gonna get to the question that you giggled at the first time. I know you guys missed it, and I'm so peeved at myself.
I'll giggle again. Don't worry.
I asked him about how he's very open about his politics
Yeah.
on his channel and how much flack he's gotten for that.
Ha 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 ha. There's my canned laughter.
Thank you, and the Oscar goes too.
Yeah, I appreciate it. No, yeah, I don't know. I've been pretty open about my politics on the channel and stuff, and we got into a pretty long conversation in the first recording that I think we can probably distill the important parts from.
Yeah.
But I feel as if I'll do the anecdote again. Is like when I was first starting, I spent about a year floating between like 0 and 100 subs, and you know, my channel's trajectory has been like, it took a year to get 1,000, it took a year to get 2,000, it took half a year to get 3,000, and then I was on Yugituber Grand Championship, and it's been like ridiculous since then.
And then you just went.
Yeah, kind of. And those first couple of years, I was very careful because I was like, well, I have a very small user base. I don't want to alienate anyone in particular. I can't be discerning with my audience. And I remember back when I was, I started the channel during like a pretty depressive episode right after college when I didn't really have much to do. I was like temping, and I would work nights, and it was like labor. So during the day, I would be sort of stuck at home with nothing to do, so I started streaming, and then I started making videos. And I would stream daily, and after a couple of days, or a couple of months rather, I had like a following of like 10 or 12 people who would be on every stream, and they were like, we want a Discord so we can all hang out. I said, sure. After a couple of months, the Discord had about 50 people in it, and we had a politics channel. Mm-hmm. And I remember one day I was just like looking in the politics channel, and I was like, this is like just repugnant. Like I was like, this is, if I was joining like Yu-Gi-Oh from an outside perspective, someone who'd never played the game, I was just looking for a community, and mm-hmm. I showed up, and this was like what people were doing and saying and talking about, I would be like, bye forever.
Yeah. And then in the first recording I mentioned Zodiac Duelists because they're kind of the right wing, yeah. They're kind of known for being more right wing.
Well, right, I suppose. I agree with you insofar as Zodiac Duelist kind of represents that. But a lot of it, I think, is
well, the
a
other
lot of it, I
is
think,
like,
is just like
people were just being like edgelords and trying to like saying stuff for jokes.
A lot of it is edgy, and it turns out if your community is based around like being edgy, there are going to be people who are like unironically edgy who enjoy your community's company, and they can do a pretty good job of like hijacking it. Mm-hmm. So I think that a lot of the so I started being very open about like my politics, and obviously I don't like ban people who don't disagree or who disagree with me or anything. But
there's no need. There's a mute button. We just
yeah, exactly. Fantastic.
Yeah, everybody else can put up with you, but it doesn't mean I have to.
Exactly. But we do include in the Discord now like very specific rules about like, listen, you're gonna have to like behave yourself.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the fact that while the community is as large as it is, mm-hmm. but is so massively tilted towards like specifically guys and specifically cis guys, mm-hmm. Is because this open animosity in the name of edginess against like women and trans people in general has been such a huge turnoff to anyone who is interested in the community who is like reasonable at all. And then that problem replicates itself because there's not people with those opinions in the community because they all leave, and then the community remains insular. And I think it's important both for the growth of the community and for the health of the community that as content creators we kind of start taking a hardline stance about like, no, like, you know, I'm not going to like do the joke or whatever.
Yeah, like these certain things are just off the table.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be like, I don't want to be like iDubbbz or whatever, because you know, it's just I literally do not watch iDubbbz's content. But someone linked me the part of the video where he was like, I think what we've gotten away with on YouTube in general is like hearing someone in the back shout like a funny stupid meme that's like mean towards women or mean towards like sex workers or trans people or whatever, mm-hmm. And just ignoring it and being like, whatever. But it's become clear that if you're not like actively calling out that behavior, it will come to dominate your viewer base as they feel welcome making those types of like comments and jokes.
So, but with us being on the screen and us saying like, nope, I'm not okay with that. That's not okay here. Those people tend to go, maybe I don't want to be over here.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, maybe they're like, well, maybe this isn't the place for that kind of humor.
Right. Yeah. And it's weird coming from like Magic the Gathering, because that's a community that's like super welcoming in a lot of respects, and then like pivoting to Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's like, oh, this community is like actively antagonistic to new people. It's like, well, you know.
Yeah, I don't remember it being that way when I was a kid, but damn, like, did it turn like that when I was a teenager? I was like, at night.
And the good news is, I think that kind of like,
yeah, it's like
it's kind of on the way out, you know.
Yeah, it's like, I kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, that's exactly. You're right. You're saying it right. It seems like it's definitely going on the way out. Like, and I think that like even Zodiac Duelist is getting a lot more tolerant now.
I mean, there was a time when Zodiac was like, one, worse, and two, like the biggest voice of the Yu-Gi-Oh community on Earth, and like that was rough.
Yeah, it's just Zodiac Duelist can be a bit of a. I mean, it's a great place to advertise, but it can be it can be a cesspool. Let's just.
I mean, Zodiac is Zodiac, and I think no one would say that Zodiac can be a cesspool more than people who are on Zodiac.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm a member of Zodiac.
Exactly.
I can say that I'm a member.
It's like back in like 2007 when everyone was on B on like 4chan, and they'd be like, "Man, I wish B was still good," and everyone would be like, "B was never good." There's never a time when these communities were anything other than what they are now, and like,
All right, give me just a second. I'm gonna cross that off the list. Oh, and I'm just smacking the microphone. Sorry for the headphone users. One of the things that's on my list, though, like we talked about a second ago, is like your sexuality, because I'm gonna pull MBT out of the closet.
That's right, I am sapiosexual. I will only have sexual intercourse with smart people. I learned about it on an episode of Rick and Morty. No, I'm
Rick of Yugitube.
Oh, Jesus Christ, no. Oh, good God almighty.
Could you imagine being that cynical? Just like, everything sucks. No, we already have that guy. That guy's, what is it, DPYG?
DPYG, if you're watching this, I'm not the one who said it, but Rick Sanchez of Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh my God. No.
I'm just making a joke, but he does say that about every, like 90% of the cards he talks about. He's like,
I do appreciate the realism in that, like, this card shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love it too. I like his content. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying I get a giggle out of it.
No, yeah.
But on the comment, like on the first recording, what I asked him was, because I mentioned that on Facebook he openly admits he's bisexual. Mm-hmm. So I don't think I'm pulling you out of the closet on this one. And I was asking if you had gotten any bad experiences from the Yugituber community.
Nah, it's been fine. I think bi dudes in general are like. I think people are recognizing like bisexuality in dudes is more of a thing now than it was even like half a decade ago, in terms of people being open about it. Mm-hmm. And certainly the Yugituber community of like 2011, it might have been a problem, but it's really never been an issue for me.
Okay. Well, I mean, like,
I'm very glad about it.
Like I was gonna say is like we mentioned JCD Gato and how she came out as trans recently, and I was like, when you and I mentioned that like earlier, like if we bring up 2011 Yu-Gi-Oh, that she would have been just verbally assaulted, and I'm like, go ahead.
I'm sure she's still facing similar things. Communities, the community is the community, and like, that sucks, but it is. It does make me like hopeful that like the general attitude towards people who are different than you has improved. Yeah. Since 2011, 2012, Yugitube scene, and I think actively cultivating that is kind of like an obligation that the figureheads in the Yu-Gi-Oh community have, and it's been great to see those figureheads do that when they do it, and so you know.
Yeah, and of course it's kind of like like you and I, you were talking about a second ago with the politics thing. You and I kind of are being that we're more accepting of that kind of different people of different walks. It should help maybe cultivate that a little bit. So
that's the hope. I am not accepting of all people. However, I do not recognize the human rights of Mystic Mind players, and I think that's
or
fair.
Draco players, you guys.
Yeah. I think that's reasonable.
To the gulag, as you say on your channel. Oh yeah,
man.
I watch your stuff, man. I know. Oh man, I think I have. We also, you talked about skits, and one of the things I was going to ask is, like, as somebody who also does skits on my channel, how much did you spend a considerable amount of time trying to come up with a skit for your video?
So I used to not. I used to just put in the skit as an afterthought. First of all, I credit the skits more than anything else with the channel's growth. It turns out most of the people who watch my channel don't even play Yu-Gi-Oh, but
they just watch for that first few seconds.
Yeah, and then click off. No, but it used to be that I was like, I'll just put the skit in at the end, and then it was like, okay, recognizing that the skit is like why people are coming means that I probably have to be thinking of that like before writing the thing.
It's funny you say that, because like that's been something I've been getting complimented a lot lately too, because I have this Ben 10 persona. So they've been getting giggles out of the whole, like, like I'm a superhero getting badgered by Toon Donald Trump, because on the skit I have like when I do the Donald Trump impression, I have on the screen, I have like the Family Guy version of him on the screen pop up. So like the skit lately has been like, I have this letter or he sends me letters, and I'll open it up, and he'll be like, "Dear Mr. Benji, YGO," and I do that whole. I know it's a bad impression. I know.
Oh no! The weird thing about Donald Trump is there aren't like good impressions of him. No one can do him. It is very odd.
Yeah, but like the only thing you can do is you can try to do the whole squinty-eyed thing, and then like. You just talk like you know what you're talking about, but you don't really know what you're talking about. That's like the best I can do, and because he has like that, I don't know. He has more of like mannerisms you can make fun of.
Yeah.
Voice.
I think the best way I've heard it described is like he's actually growling in a lot of his consonants, and like people just sort of. I'm not even going to attempt it, but it is such a weird way of speaking, and it is appalling watching like late night hosts be so fucking bad at it. They're just terrible.
Actually, my mine comes from Trevor Noah.
Yeah.
That's where mine comes from. I'll admit it.
No, that's fair. It is weird being like, okay, so this person is doing this person doing Donald Trump. Like.
Pretty much, yeah. So anyone who watches, like I literally had my buddy Jesse from TFTK, he literally comments, "So is this the Daily Show now?"
Yeah, something simulacra.
Yeah, like yes, this is now the new Daily Show. I am Trevor Noah 10,000. Oh my goodness,
that would be terrible for an SEO though. That would be really.
Oh goodness. Oh, but like anyway, but like on the skit thing, like, and that's the thing that takes the longest to edit. So do you have the same experience?
Yeah. No, I would say so. It is rough. For every 10-minute testing that I do, it represents probably about like 10 hours of like writing and editing, and filming.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, so like when I'm looking to add new videos or change up my schedule, people are always like, "We'll put in more 10-minute testing," and I'm like, that is literally impossible. I'm literally not able to do it, and I apologize. Like,
yeah. Well, like okay, so in between these interview type videos, like, truth be told, before yours will come out, there'll be 2 others.
No, fair.
So, but I don't want to bog my audience down with one type of thing. So what I do is in between, behind the screen, I have regular Yu-Gi-Oh content, and that's usually contains like a skit. So now I have to come up with a skit that kind of related to the deck, you know what I mean, or or I will pick a deck that's related to the current situation.
Bada bing.
So, like, for example, I did the ballpark deck. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it, where you have like the normal insect monsters, and yeah, you're familiar with this deck.
No, GBP's a hell of a card.
So, yeah, so that card. So I played that deck, and then I did a skit about like when I tried the fluorescent to cure the crush card virus. As the that
right.
Yeah, it's been a continuing story so far. Like the last like 3 of these these deck profiles the skit has been a continuation.
The deep lore
of my channel, yeah.
No.
It's getting ridiculous. So yeah,
I will say to like people who are new or looking to make a lot of YouTube videos very quickly, like do ensure that you have some sort of content that takes you like 2 hours to produce that you can put up in between longer ones, because you will just die burning out. It's very difficult to be like, yeah, this one gets the most views, so I'll make that every day. It's like you really can't do that.
No. I mean, and as much as I have so many ideas, like, and it's not like there's a shortage of decks out there to play. To make, especially because like at this point I feel like my channel's more of a joke channel anyway. You know what I mean? Like this is my serious-esque Joe Rogan-esque podcasty type thing where I get to be serious, and then like I do my goofy ass skits for whatever deck of the day, and then from that point, like the only thing that's real is when you get to the end of the video where I'm doing the deck profile. But nobody seems to want to watch the deck profile. They literally leave after 2 minutes when the skit's done.
It's the dream and the curse.
I mean, it's people are subscribing, so I can't complain.
Yeah, it's like, well, I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, and the only reason I even started doing skits is because Yugi quit for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. There was a skit void.
Yeah, well, I mean, like that was kind of his thing, and I was like,
we had one APS skit a month, and that's it.
Yeah, Yugi was known for being the funny guy in our community for a while there, and then he quit. So that's when I started the Ben 10 thing. So I was like, I've done it. I did a whole video where like I've done created the Omnitrix. It's so stupid. It's such a bad video, but I did it, and. From that point on, I've just kind of incorporated that into my stuff, and then I found you, and I was like, oh look, this guy, and then it turns out you and I are also politically aligned. I was like, so this guy gets it. just throwing that out there. I don't really have anything else that's too it shouldn't be too deep, but if there's a topic that you want to discuss, you are welcome to do so. As my guest, you can have the floor.
Oh man, that's a lot of pressure.
Are you gonna have an anxiety attack on camera? I mean, I'm just saying for the views.
That's a very like Logan Paulian type thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. We don't do that here.
we'll call Frog Jesus at 3 a.m. and we'll invite him to our house like that one YouTuber. I'm very excited to do so.
One of the things that I came up with was like, how do you feel about budget decks versus meta or expensive decks?
I really don't play meta in paper, and I do fine regardless. Meta being like the top 2 or 3 decks.
Yeah.
I did during the zoo format, and I hated the experience. It was like you had a huge target on your head. You were expected to play actual Yu-Gi-Oh all the time, which is just miserable. But I think that kind of the impetus for my channel was a lot of the decks that are like budget in terms of like they're not necessarily like the top 3 or 4 decks, were just straight up bad. And it would be like someone would be like, I built, like for example, when Generator first came out in Secret Slayers, not Secret Slayers, Secret Fighter, Mystic Fighters, I don't know, one of those things. People were like, I built this deck, here it is. and you'd take a look at it and you'd be like, this deck is terrible, it's not going to accomplish anything, like walk me through what you want the plays to be. And they would, and you'd say, that isn't going to be enough to be competitive. You could supplement it with playable cards, and then it could occasionally scrape wins off of like a high tier meta decks. So there weren't very many people, in my opinion, who were taking like budget or non-meta decks as seriously as you would take a meta deck. Like, usually when you'd look up a profile for a deck that was untiered or was budget, it would be someone being like, I play 3 of this card because it looks cool and it's on theme and it's part of the archetype. And it's like, right, but you could be winning with it, theoretically. So I really do appreciate the individuals who take budget decks as seriously as you would take a meta deck, just identifying that it's a different strategy. And, I've had a lot of competitive success with that, and I think other people have too. I don't know. I guess that's that.
Okay. I just, on the topic of that, like, isn't one of your favorite decks the Phantasm Spiral deck?
Rip and Peace, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, everybody has a pet deck. My favorite one is Lightsworn, so it's not like I can, it's not like I can go toe-to-toe with anybody with that anymore. I can't even play Shaddoll Lightsworn and expect to do
There was like a week where it was like 2 Raiden in Eldritch. That was something, maybe.
Yeah. I was like, man, my favorite deck. And ever since, it's pretty much like, after Dragon Rollers got banned, Lightsworn was useless.
Rest in peace, the Inov format Minerva Sworn, Trick Clown deck that 3 people on Earth could build because it was a prize card.
Right, and then by the time everybody else got Minerva, it was like...
It was terrible.
Yeah, it was this weird power crept. And then, of course, to insult to injury, Team Sam and Slim got Fairy Tail Snow banned with their Thunder Dragon decks.
Fairy Tail Snow was never going to live forever. It was like people were like, listen, you can have Shaddoll Fusion or you can have Fairy Tail Snow, and you can't have both.
Truth be told, I don't feel like Fairy Tail Snow was that powerful of a card, in my opinion. I felt like it was only seen in really mill-based decks. Just my opinion.
I think if Fairy Tail Snow was legal now, it would see an extremely frustrating amount of play.
Really?
Yeah.
I think. Well, hold on. How many? At 3 or at 1?
Either.
Either way, you think it'd just be like splash and everything?
I think you would see it in a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Like I played Fairy Tail Snow because with Lightsworn because it was the shield.
It was free material. Yeah.
It was and I used it like a shield. So basically, what I would do is I also played Rise to Full Height.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, I was mean. I was the mean Lightsworn. So back when Blue Eyes got its fresh support.
Oh yeah.
And it was the big deck. I was pissing off guys at my locals using Fairy Tail Snow and Rise to Full Height shenanigans. So I would be like, okay, Rise to Full Height this monster. And they'd be like, okay, well, we're going to attack that monster. And then I go, okay, Fairy Tail Snow, banish that monster. And then, put that one face down. Oh, you can't attack now because there's no monsters. That monster's gone now.
Rise to Full Height. Heck of a card.
I know. And then it doesn't work right on EdoPro right now. So it kind of
True.
annoys me.
Also correct.
Oh, have you tried something with that?
Oh, no. I know that it is one of the people who is responsible for programming EdoPro is constantly explaining what the problem cards are, and Rise to Full Height features heavily.
Yeah, I tried to build a Lightsworn video because there was that synchro monster that came out, the Chaos Dragon that they were.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm gonna build Lightsworn with this and see if I can do something with it. And then I noticed Rise to Full Height just wasn't working, and I was like, so I scrapped that whole video idea. And I was like, nope, if I can't use the trap card that I love to use with the deck, I'm not gonna bother. Oh, man. So do you have anything like that, I don't know, what I call Yugituber Struggles, so to speak, like that, where you've just had to scrap a whole video idea?
Yeah, occasionally. It used to happen more in the past when Percy would, every update, make every replay that you'd already gathered invalid. So sometimes a mistranslation or a misplaced colon would just scrap replay gathering.
Yeah.
I've had to scrap videos for ban lists, but in general, I'm very privileged to have a community who will help me through the deck building process a lot of the time. I can be like, does anyone here play X? What's bad about Y? And it avoids misses more often than it would otherwise.
That's that. Yeah, you are fortunate because I don't have that.
Yeah.
And plus, but I'm as of recording this video, I'm at like 775. So, my community is not very big. I was about to say not very small.
Mhm.
I wish it wasn't very small. It's not very big, and that's just it is what it is, and like that's good that you have that. Like, actually, Yugi Nono made a joke about it to me, because I converse with Tyler often on Twitter, and him and I were making jokes about. He was making jokes about. He calls the followers that he has that help him out with videos. He called them his minions. And all I can think of is Despicable Me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because I'm a child trapped in a man's body.
Aren't we? Here we are playing Yu-Gi-Oh. So.
Yeah, I'm among like-minded people here. Oh man. So one of the things, like, I know we touched on it earlier, and you mentioned your fiance, but like, I'll go ahead and ask the question again for the camera. How does she feel about you playing Yu-Gi-Oh?
I'm very lucky. My fiance is a smart, beautiful, amazing woman. And also, she tolerates me playing Yu-Gi-Oh, which is impressive.
Yeah, I'm like, how the hell did you bag all that, man?
Right? Yeah. No. She's very supportive of the stuff I do, and I think is willing to roll with Yu-Gi-Oh for that reason. I don't think she has really any interest in it.
Mm-hmm.
I got her to play Goats. That was a lot of fun. But outside of that,
what you guys missed out on is he tells me that he was in detail. By the way, he talks about playing strip goats with her. I was like, golly, yeah. I didn't need to know about that freckle, man.
Yeah, it was every single goat turned into 1,000 Ice Restrict is an item of clothing removed, and unfortunately, it was not very sexy. I played a win. I showed up with coats on. It was.
Thanks for playing along with the bit, by the way.
No, but she's amazing and has been more than tolerant of this. It helps that at this time it's like my job, and that's that.
But like, yeah, like that. The reason why I always bring that question in, because I know that anyone who has watched this series a long time, they always ask, well, why do you always ask that question? And the reason why is because I've heard of Yugitubers who have basically quit, and I feel like part of it is relationships. So I've always been curious about like how, the people I interview, if they're willing to say, how what their experience is. Like, I don't know if you know old school Mickey Vlogs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he doesn't make Yu-Gi-Oh content anymore. I don't think he even makes content anymore, but he mentioned there was a few videos I remember back in the day where he mentioned like various partners had kind of poked fun at him and for playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and I'm like, and I could see that in his eyes, that it was something that really hurt. And I would think it would, because like, I've never experienced that really. But I'm pretty sure that if I had a partner that just, made me feel bad about my hobby, I wouldn't want to, I wouldn't want to play. It would,
for sure. I mean, for me, it'd be about respect, like, I get, like, poking gentle fun at whatever, and, like, that's fine and fun and cute, but, like, to some degree, if you're dating someone who... who this is an important part of their life, you probably have to, accept that it is going to be an important part of their life. Mm-hmm. And if your goal is to, like, bully them out of it, then, like, why are you dating this person in the first place?
Yeah, that's kind of where and to bring back what I was trying to say with it is I kind of wonder if he had a partner that had been supportive of it, would he still be in our community? You know what I mean? It's just kind of it's just a thought I have. I don't know. I mean, I'd have to try to get him on this channel, and good luck hunting him down, because he's like gone. He's vanished. I can't find nothing on the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've had a former Yugituber on this one. I've had Underworld 6667. I'm gonna brag about that.
Wow, that's a big one.
I got lucky, man. Yeah, me and Dan actually have interacted before, because he was like giving me like weight loss advice.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like, I met him at a grocery store.
No.
He was buying candy bars and complaining about electronic interference. No, it's...
No,
God.
Alright, so fun story, because I'm pretty sure you didn't watch that video, but like the fun story with that one was, he goes into this, that's how him and I met, is because he posting pictures of himself like looking like a goddamn superhero, and I'm like, and fun fact about Underworld 667, if you guys don't know, Dan used to be huge. He used to look like Barney from the neck down, from the the dinosaur show, and then he was like, next thing you know, he's like, boom, look at these abs, man, look at these pectorals, doing all superhero poses, and I'm like, how the hell did you do that? And then him and I had a conversation, and a friendship blossomed from it. So
that's great.
So yeah, funny. You'd be surprised what can start a friendship, I guess. Have you ever had any weird, like, any friendships like that kind of pop up, like where you're just like over some random topic of conversation?
The person I'm currently living with. Oh, this is.
The cameraman.
This story. Yeah. No. So I went to a college that was way far away from where I grew up, and when I got there, I was like looking for friends. There was like a block party, and I was wearing. Oh God, do you know the webcomic Homestuck?
I'm not familiar, I'm afraid. See, I'm 30. I'm old, so.
Yeah, no, this is great for me. I'm sure the comments will know, but I was wearing a shirt this was in 2012, back when this was cool. I was wearing a shirt from Homestuck, and the cameraman who I live with, he shouted from across the block. He was like, "Hey, nice shirt!" And I was like, "Oh yeah, great." And so I walked over and we started talking, and now we're friends and we live together.
Yeah. So I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it was just over this comic that we all but outlasted. I guess it's updating again, but yeah, I mean, it was crazy.
That's it. Yeah, friendships are funny like that. How they can just start over like the weirdest. Like, just I mean. But I was gonna say is like, he's featured in a lot of your videos. Does Cameraman play Yu-Gi-Oh at all, or does he just help you with the skits?
He does. He does play Yu-Gi-Oh. Not regularly. It's very difficult to keep up with Yu-Gi-Oh. But he played Thunder Dragon because it didn't actually require you to interact with your opponent at all, and now he plays Guru as a challenge to himself because now he has to interact. But yeah, okay. We occasionally, when we're like pressed for footage, we'll like play on the kitchen table and then upload that.
Okay. So I always kind of wondered like that because like if I'm not gonna go into my personal living situation because it's it's not interesting, but let's just say that the folks I live with are not interested in helping with my YouTube stuff at all. So they're not supportive of it. They're not like, you know what I mean. I'm like when I saw that artwork today, I was all like, look, somebody made me into a cartoon. It made my week, man. I'm not gonna lie. In fact, doing this with you actually got as many hiccups as I've come across has still actually made and I just shrank.
Oh God, what happened?
I accidentally hit the lever on my chair.
I see.
And then that's why like you could only see my hat for a second there. But I was gonna say is like doing this interview with you, as much as hiccups as I come across, is actually still made my week because I was pretty down earlier this week because I had to scrap like a whole video because I just could not find a way to make the deck work. I tried everything. I put in Lightning Storm, in every hyper expensive staple you could possibly put in that deck, and I could not make it work.
What was the deck, if you don't mind me asking?
Inzectors.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, you're like, your face says it all, man.
Inzector does the one thing, and it does not do it consistently.
No, and then it pisses me off because I remember losing to that deck when it first came out, like during that format. And I was sitting there like, oh my god, not Inzectors. And now,
back when you could pass for 8 turns trying to find like, what's his name, Dragonfly.
Yeah, and now it's like. Fuck, never mind.
It's like, and it's also like super taxing to play. It's like super hard.
And it doesn't. Yeah, it was like, and especially if you're not familiar with that, or it's just not a deck that's your play style, because it's very much not. I like, truth be told, I like simpler decks. I just do. That's why I play dinosaurs.
Yeah, boom.
Yeah, that's why I played. I enjoyed the ballpark deck because it was easy to understand. For me, at least, it was. I don't know. Your video actually helped with that, believe it or not.
Oh, great. Well, no, I think I guess this is a bit of a teachable moment. If you're like a Yu-Gi-Oh player and you feel like super complicated decks aren't really your speed, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you recognize that you, if given the opportunity to screw up the game, will screw it up, you can play a deck with less points of interaction. Like, there's nothing wrong with playing a deck that just sits on VFD and passes, because you know that, like, you aren't going to be able to navigate Eldritch at peak capacity for 12 rounds straight. Like, I remember when I was playing Hero, one guy at a tournament that it was like round 7, and I was like 7-0 at this regional, and this guy was like, "Why are you playing that deck?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "It's like dumb, it's stupid." And I'm like, "I'm dumb, like I'm stupid, like this is the amount of interaction I can handle, and like I'm doing it. It's going pretty well so far." So, if you are reasonable about your strengths and weaknesses and own up to the fact that, like, yeah, I mean, like, giving myself a bunch of opportunities to lose the game isn't something that I'm going to come out on top of. You know, there's nothing wrong with playing a deck that fits your playstyle.
That's some solid advice, really, because I'm not gonna lie. Like, don't get me wrong. I like interaction. I do. I like decks that fight. That is important to me. I wanna battle my opponent's monsters. So that's another reason why I play dinosaurs, because that's half of the point of it. But it's just that certain decks just I can't, no matter how, for some reason I just can't wrap my head around it. Like, there are synchro decks, right? Like, you'll see them on YouTube all the time where they have these massive, just go 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 go, and I'm like, and then I tried to build like synchro back in the day, when it was at least tier 2. And I'm just like, I cannot navigate all these plays, and and I'm ending on suboptimal boards, and it's just, ugh.
I mean, no reason to force yourself into an adaptable combo deck if it's not your speed. Like, you don't have to prove to your opponent that you're smart enough to run like XYZ deck. You just have to beat them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, come on, there's a reason why, especially because I'm an old school player. Like, when I was playing the game as a kid, like, back when, like, in the, what was it, like 2000s? So, the early 2000s. So, like, yes, I know, I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh boomer. I make that joke on my channel, too. Back in my day, we sacrificed our monsters, and we liked it.
No matter how good this format ever gets, it'll never beat, like, 2002 Summon Skull beat Tier 0.
I laugh when I tell people, like, Summon Skull was a meta card at one point, right? And the people are like, what? No!
If you go back and find, like, championship decks from, like, 2001, 2002, boy, it's miserable. It is just big number hit hard. It is awful.
All I have is Davinator in my mind when you said that big number. Because that's how
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, my goodness. That is awesome stuff. Oh, man. But, yeah, like, to bring it back to that question of Yugituber Struggles, I just kind of wondered, because, like, that is something that I have experienced a lot of, especially with, like, sometimes with my equipment, too, like, because I'm using a laptop, and I have, like, the most expensive thing I have is the mic. So I just wondered if anybody else had ever had any struggles like that with making content, because, like, there are things I would love to make. Like, I would love to make, like, professional level stuff for people, but you're limited to what you can gather up and what your time will allow. So I just kind of wondered, like, bring it back to the whole topic of, have you ever had, like, what I call Yugituber struggles? I'm glad to know that you have some experiences like that. Is there any other things that you've experienced as far as, like, Yugitube struggles?
So yeah, I filmed off a laptop too from 2016 to 2018. And then one day, it was like my laptop for daily use too, and one day it fell, and the back popped open and the fan stopped working. And so when the fan would kick in, it would, like, whine super loud, and you couldn't hear any, like, it would show up on the audio. So I had to, like, surgically take the back off and then plop it onto one of those, like, racks of fans that they sell as a USB thing. Yeah. So I had this, like, decaying contraption of a laptop that I'm filming on, and it was just like,
I'm starting to wonder if this is a rite of passage.
Yeah, finally, someone came into my room and they were like, "Is this your computer?" And I was like, "Yeah. This is what I film on." They're like, "Please just buy a fucking desktop." And so I have like a $350 desktop that I use to record now, and it's been great. It's been much better.
Okay. That's funny that you mentioned that. So, like, in my room, I have a bunch of these rolling around here. This big rusty thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this big rusty sword right here.
Yep.
Like I'm like a Final Fantasy character, if they were short and lame. Anyway, so I used to have a smaller room, and I was moving that big jungus around.
Mm-hmm.
And I tripped on my own 2 feet because I'm so graceful. And so the laptop that I currently screen on has a giant crack across one side. And that is... But it's like, it's a really expensive laptop, so I'm like, I refuse to replace it.
Maybe it is a rite of passage. It might as well be at this point.
I'm starting to wonder, like, if I interview, like, Simo, Gage, and
they'll be like,
are they going to tell me the same story?
Yeah.
It's like, I've always just kind of wondered that. Like, the reason why I've always wondered is because, like, sometimes I get really frustrated and I'm like, why does this happen to me? So that's why I asked them some of these questions. Because I got to know, please tell me it's not just me. Oh, man. So it's good to know. It's a rite of passage.
Yeah.
I think that we've pretty much covered all of my basic topics. Is there anything in particular you would like the audience to know about you, but that maybe it's not well known?
Oh.
Besides being a dirty leftist.
I was like, nope, no, nothing I would prefer that people know. No.
Oh, okay.
In 1999, I was tried at the Hague for war crimes against the nation of Micronesia. I was found guilty, and I changed my name and started doing Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube as part of a witness protection program. That's the last thing I would like to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Bro, your sense of humor is like very sarcastic, and I'm very slapstick. So it's like,
it's a nice mix.
Yeah, like, oh my goodness. Let's try to think here. I don't know. I'm trying to make sure that there's a good spot to wrap up on because I don't want to keep you here too long. Because I know I'm pretty sure I kept you longer than I. You say something?
No, I didn't. No.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, I thought my thing was stopped recording. I was about to be so mad. I was like, no!
Not again!
Not again! But no, it was. You just didn't move on the screen, that's all. So that's what got me, like...
Wow.
Oh, man, it's literally the story of my life, man. One technical difficulty after another.
Well, I hope this one works out for you.
Oh, man. Well, guys, I think that we're going to wrap this up. I think I've stolen enough of MBT's time. I'm pretty sure he's got more important things to do. So we're gonna let you go, and make sure you go subscribe to his channel if you're not, because this is his publicity. He's not helping out the little guy. Like, look at me, see, I'm helping out the poor little Yugituber. All right, guys, that's enough of my antics. We will catch you in the next one. Peace.